Welcome back to Iowa City. A beautiful day for the 2002 season opener as Iowa and Akron get ready to square off the Big Ten against the Mid-American Conference. Well, there are a lot of great things about the Iowa football team, potentially, Marv Cook, but probably none better than the offensive line.
Iowa's had a great history of offensive line. Eric Steinbach's one of those guys that fits that mold. Big, strong, athletic. Looks like he's going to be a great anchor for this offensive line this year. Alongside him in the middle is Kurt Nelson, who's been with the team forever, it seems like, and is the guy that calls out all those offensive signals for the quarterback. Nelson has started an unbelievable 35 games in a row. That, by the way, the longest streak for linemen in college football. You saw Russell. He's filling in for Aaron Grething today. C.J. Jones, the only senior in the receiving corps. A lot of graduation losses, so he needs to make some big plays this year. Up front, the Hawkeyes, very, very sound. Steinbach, first-team All-Conference last year. Banks on second down. Here's Russell looking for daylight, picking his hole well. To the 30, the 25. He may break it. Russell goes all the way. Iowa touchdown. You want to see some good footwork? I think Fred made 4 guys miss on that run. That's a great, great run. Actually, Akron had this play. The linebacker was in there, just missed the tackle. Fred does a nice job of moving his feet. Look at that move. That's fantastic footwork right there. And it's off to the end zone. He scored in the opener last year against Kent State. That's his second touchdown, Fred Russell. Now attempting his 40th consecutive point after Nate Kading. The school record, 42. He could make that today. Well, at least he's a step towards that because he nails the first one. And with 13:01 left to play in the first quarter, the Hawkeyes are already on the board with a 7-0 lead over Akron. Iowa's defense looks like this up front. Colin Cole is the lone veteran, otherwise a rebuilding situation on the defensive line. But the linebacker core is solid, led by Fred Barr, who was all-conference last year, number 2 tackler. And in the secondary, the one man that Coach Lee Owens of Akron is most concerned about, number 33, Bob Sanders, a true hitter and a great leader of that unit. Fry with the inside handoff and a fumble, and it's scooped up by the Hawkeyes. Worthy has got it. Kevin Worthy at the 50, at the 40. Worthy going, and gone. Actually have a pretty good play here. The fullback gets loose, just do a nice job of getting that ball in there, getting the hand in there and stripping it out. And Mr. Worthy does the rest. And number 45, Jonathan Babineau, was the guy who stripped it away. Worthy picked it up, was off to the races. The Hawkeyes lead 13-0 as Nate Kading attempts the 41st consecutive PAT. That would leave him 1 shy of the record. The holder is David Bradley, who's the punter. This one is perfect. And the Hawkeyes off to a 14-0 lead with the ball game not yet 5 minutes old. So we've got a break at Kinnick Stadium as Kevin Worthy finds the end zone for the first time in his Iowa career. Big play in the first series, and now Akron forced to punt, and it's into the end zone. The kicker goes back to retrieve it and runs it out of the end zone. The safety and the Hawkeyes jump to a 16-0 lead, and so far a nightmarish beginning for Akron after the initial start and the good offensive drive. Russell, the only setback, as it's 2 receivers to each side, and now Clark goes in motion. Russell has a hole. He finds the seam, and 1 tackler stops him from a big gain, but he does pick up a first down to the 35-yard line of Akron. Left side. Again, daylight for Russell. 25, 20, 15, 5. Touchdown, Russell. Fred Russell's second touchdown of the first quarter. Came with the 2 tight end set that time, ran behind Robert Gallery, one of the guys Coach Ferentz really likes. Thinks he's a tough offensive tackle for the Hawks, and it just does a nice job of creating a little crease, and Fred Russell does the rest. So Russell goes 35 yards that time after going 44 yards on his first touchdown scamper, and suddenly it is 22-0. Bruce Nelson to snap the ball to him. Here is Russell once again, and again there's daylight. That offensive line opening up some huge holes, and Fred Russell is already over 100 yards rushing, and we're in the first quarter. Wow, working the left side. 5 carries, 112 yards for Fred Russell in his first Iowa start. Russell out of Inkster, Michigan, originally committed to the University of Michigan, but both Michigan
and perhaps himself had a little bit of a change in heart, and that's how Iowa was the recipient of Fred Russell. Banks, play action fake, goes deep. He's got Jones open. Jones skips away, and touchdown for the Hawkeyes. Make it not Jones, but rather was Maurice Brown, number 9, the junior from Florida, who gathers in a 56-yard bomb, and Maurice Brown has scored his first Iowa touchdown.
Mo Brown is the prototypical pro receiver, big, strong, athletic. This is all set up by Fred Russell running the ball. A little play action pass, getting Mo Brown over the top.
So Banks has gone deep once again, and the Hawkeyes now have Nate Kading attempting to break the Rob Houtland consecutive PAT record. This would be number 43. And it is good. And with 5:02 left to play in the first quarter, the Iowa Hawkeyes have an unbelievable lead as you look at the man who scored the touchdown, Maurice Brown.
As I mentioned, this is all set up with Fred Russell running the ball. We'll get a little play action here. Get the linebackers up, get Mo Brown one-on-one with the corner. Brad Banks does a nice job. He's got him open, but he didn't want to overthrow him. Just puts it right on his number. Mo Brown does the rest. Play action right here. Watch this. Camera guy's following Fred too. He's had so much action today. Brad Banks does a nice job. Nice touch on that ball to Mo Brown.
It really was. Maurice Brown really going to be something special. A junior we mentioned from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's big at 6'2" and 210, and yet, you saw it there, he's not only got size, but he's got speed. Dallas Clark goes into motion from left to right. Banks comes back, completes to Maurice Brown. He's to the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Maurice Brown, second Iowa touchdown.
Gets the rollout to the right. Brad does a nice job of hesitating here a little bit, freezing him, finding Mo Brown. Mo Brown does a great job. Maurice Brown does a great job of coming back to the ball there. Anytime you're throwing back across the grain, you got to make sure those receivers are coming back to the ball. He does a nice job.
Nate Kading on for the point after. And it is good. And I don't know how many 37-point first quarters there have been in Iowa history, Mark Book, but there can't have been too many. So now it's 3rd and goal from the 8-yard line for Charlie Fry and the Akron Zips. Fry only a sophomore, but already named a captain of this team. That's what a great leader they feel he is. The play action fake, the toss to the end zone, and a diving catch for a touchdown for Akron by Matt Cherry.
You got to go to your superstars when you need it, and Charlie Fry does a nice job of the play action getting out. Watch this throw. Matt Cherry does a great job of going up and getting this ball. Oh, fantastic. Great coverage actually by Iowa. Just Matt Cherry made a great football play.
Banks, quarterback all the way. Aaron Mickens lines up behind him at fullback. The give is to Jermelle Lewis. And again, the offensive line opens a big hole, and Lewis scampers through it for a first down. The offensive line has just been impressive so far. And Iowa with another first down. This time from the 47-yard line. Now, it's Lewis keeping it on the ground. 30, 25, nice cutback, 20, 15, Jermelle Lewis.
That pretty much sums it up. First quarter and a half here, right there, rushing yards. 200
really
for Iowa.
And the Hawkeyes are about to put a second back over the 100-yard mark, and there is Lewis on his way to the end zone, and Lewis, battling his way to the goal line, is in for the score. His first Iowa touchdown, and the Hawkeyes build the lead to 43-7 on the touchdown run by Jermelle Lewis.
That's got to feel good for him. That's his first real extensive game action. First game action as a Hawk, actually, and get that first touchdown, get your legs underneath you, and he's running hard.
Well, he'd been no secret. Very highly touted, as we mentioned, ranked 6th in the country among running backs at one time coming out of high school in Bloomfield, Connecticut. And so Hawkeye fans have waited for the Jermelle Lewis show. They're getting it today. Bradley to hold for Kading, who already has the consecutive PAT record established earlier in this ballgame, and he keeps that streak alive by nailing his 5th of the ballgame. 9:39 left to play in the opening half. You're watching Big Ten football from ESPN+. Going for it on 4th down, the Zips. Payne in trouble. The Hawkeye defense holds. From the 44 on 1st down. Jones in motion. Jones with the handoff. Let's see what he does with it. He's got speed. Look out. 35, 30. Nice run by C.J. Jones. Cousin to cousin, Banks hands to Jones.
A little bit interesting play call there, up 44-7, but they are trying to get the guys in the game and get their confidence levels up as they go into next week.
And the play works for 24 yards as we get a second glance.
Play action to Pickens. Here comes CJ around the corner, does a nice job making a guy miss. Picks up an extra 15, 20 yards.
It is Lewis once again, and again a hole opened up at the offensive line and a first down run by Jermelle Lewis. Hawkeyes go for it, 4th and goal. Brown in motion, again it's Lewis. This time the offensive line opens the hole and he's into the end zone. Hawkeye touchdown. A 2-yard gallop by Jermelle Lewis. Minute 39 and counting in the first half. Fry in trouble, down he goes. Bobineau was there, but it was number 51, Fred Barr, with a primary sack. This is the last play of the half most likely, and they will go for 6. Fry with a quick hitter to the end zone. Johnson is there defensively, but it's taken away from him and caught for a touchdown. Touchdown, Akron. And so the Iowa Hawkeyes, some impressive first half performances. Akron coming back to score in the final play of the first half. And at halftime in Kinnick Stadium, our score, Iowa 51 and the Zips from Akron 14. Play action fake, pursuit put on by Sanders. He forces the turnover. He knocked the ball down. It's loose and the Hawkeyes scrambling. And it looks like Iowa has recovered it.
You know, Coach Owens mentioned you got to know where Bob Sanders is at all time. He does a nice job of just accelerating around his corner. Drops down in here. Watch him go for the ball with his right hand. Goes in there to strip the ball. That's great, great instincts as far as football player goes. And strips that ball out of Nick Sparks' hands.
On first down is Fred Russell back in there. He sat out the second quarter. He's been in the end zone twice and carries it inside the 5-yard line. And the Hawkeyes will attempt a field goal. Nate Kading will kick. This will be a 23-yard effort from the 13-yard line. And the ball is booted up, and it is booted through. So the first field goal of the ball game for Nate Kading. The Hawkeyes stretch the lead to 40 at 54-14. Iowa with a big lead just underway third quarter on a sun-kissed day at Kinnick Stadium. A 4th and 4 call and a punt situation for the Zips. Jordan back to kick it. And running this one down, Jones having trouble recovering it now. Did he get it? No, he did not. Fry back in at quarterback. Or Macon Sparks remains at quarterback. He hands it off to Payne, trying to fight his way into the end zone.
Quick catch better that way.
That's true. Chandler swinging it out for Russell. He completes his first Iowa pass attempt, and Russell scampers into Zips territory, is out at the 49-yard line. The Hawkeyes going for it on 4th and 2, trying to get Chandler some experience in crucial situations. And he completes the pass. It is caught by Ed Hinkle, his first grab of the day at the 25-yard line, and Iowa keeps the drive going. First catch of the day and of his Iowa career for Ed Hinkle. Had a big spring game. That's when people started talking about who he is. He's a freshman redshirt from Erie, Pennsylvania, 6'1", 170. Got the starting call today as a freshman redshirt. And a lot of non-starters in there right now. Sean Considine playing one of the safety spots, and we mentioned Scott Boland at the other, so it's an all-new secondary. And throwing and testing that secondary is Sparks, and the pass is picked off at the 40-yard line. On the return, here's Javon Johnson, the true freshman, and he carries it back to the 23-yard line of Akron. Quite a debut by Javon Johnson, the first-year freshman out of Erie, Pennsylvania. That's
a unique play, and then it's going to look good on the highlight film, but they actually had a step on him, so there's going to be a learning point. On that one.
Nate Kading for the field goal, a 20-yard effort, and he slams it through the uprights, and the Hawkeyes build the lead to 57-21. But we're having a fun afternoon in this opener of the 2002 season for both the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Akron Zips. We've seen an impressive show from Iowa.
That's exactly right. A lot of domination by the offensive line, running backs, and a lot of guys are starting to play now, and seeing some true freshmen from Iowa get in there and get some playing time.
Now, in a game like this, can Kirk Ferentz still learn stuff, even though Hawkeyes jumped off to that big lead and suddenly both game plans change?
Kirk will coach until, 10 o'clock tonight. I mean, he'll be watching films after the game, and he'll take every play, will be reviewed and analyzed, and he will really try to look to break down the young guys, find out where they are in their game, and he wants to get them ready. So as we get into the Big Ten season, he knows he's going to have a good quality backup group.
Games like this, great opportunities to develop depth, and that's what this 37-0 lead after a quarter has enabled Kirk Ferentz and his staff to do.